All right, so now we're going to talk about from the point of view of the investor. Let's say you're the investor considering making an offer of a sub-2 on a property and you're not really sure what the steps are. Well, let's go through some of that right now. Make sure you go through the right order so it's logical. All right. So first off, due diligence. Make sure you know what you're buying. Make sure that you can walk in there, and if you're going to make this offer, is there an inspection contingency? Have you done your inspections? Most your crawl space? What are you going to do if you find a lien, tax liens? Are there anything that you might have that's a problem on this property? Make sure you know about it before you go through all the kerfluffle of making this thing happen, and you put the sellers through whatever stress you're going to put them through when you make this offer, because this is not a small deal, right? This is different from normally selling a house, and they're going to put a lot of brain power into it. And so if you're just going to be like, hey, I'm going to make an offer, whatever, I'm going to walk away, don't do that. Be legitimate. Second, make sure you review the existing loan terms. Get a statement from the seller that says, here is my bank statement that shows my balance, it shows my payments, it shows my interest rate, everything that you need to know about the loan. See if they have their original loan paperwork. Sometimes they don't, but see if you can get that. They should be able to download it from their bank. Review that and make sure you know all the terms that's in the mortgage. Make sure there's no early payment penalty or anything else that can cause a problem for you. Step 3, you probably already did this, cash flow analysis. Make sure that's a good investment for you. What's the rental rate? Are you going to be able to rent after you do PITI, flood, HOA, condo association? You do capital expenditure reserves, vacancy reserves, maintenance reserves, everything, unexpected repairs, everything like that. Put all that into your spreadsheet. Are you still making your cash flow, or is this an appreciation deal? Make sure the deal makes sense. Number 4, what's your exit strategy? You can do, when you buy a property sub-2, think of it just like as if you bought it with hard money, right? You have an exit strategy. It could be a long-term buy and hold. It could be that I'm going to rehab it and flip it. Maybe I'm going to wholesale it. Maybe I'm going to turn it into a long-term rental. Whatever the case is, make sure you have a plan. And I always like to have 3 exit strategies. At least 2 of them should be, real good money makers. One of them is like, hey, let's get out even, right? This is our escape clause. Make sure you got some good exit strategies so you have a plan. Don't just buy it for the sake of buying it. Although maybe you can. Number 5. Take a look at the legalities of the sub-2 deal. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Make sure you understand what that's going to look like on the HUD, that you've reviewed all of your requirements, that you know what you're going to have to pay and what you don't. And you understand that the escrow overage is not yours, right? That's all in the name of the original owner, right? So you're not going to get that. All sorts of different things like that, where you go, hey, let me make sure I know what's really going on here. And if you have any questions, talk with a professional, talk with a lawyer and somebody who's done this before more than once. This is not one of those things you want to skimp on. Some people pay money for courses for this stuff. Personally, I don't. I just know how to do it. But some people do, and that's not a bad idea. All right, so now you're ready to make the offer, and you want to make the offer. First thing you need to do, communicate with the agent. You need to make sure that agent trusts you. What's the quickest way to make sure that they don't? Cold text message, right? I know a lot of agents only deal with text message. Make sure you try and call. Pick up the phone and call. Leave a voicemail. Hey, I send a text message. Hey, I just left you a voicemail. Can you call me back? Send an email. Hey, I left you a voicemail. Can you call me back? Try to get them on the phone. You're going to have a lot better success building that trust and confidence when you talk to them on the phone. Speaking as an agent investor, somebody who's been on both sides of these deals, I can tell you, if somebody calls me up and starts talking to me, and I can evaluate, have they done this before? Are they saying the right words? Do they know what they're talking about? I can figure that out in about 12 seconds, right? I know what I'm listening for, and my radar's up. My initial thought with most investors when they call is, you don't know what you're doing because you went to a course this weekend and now you're just doing this, right? That's unfortunately what a lot of people are, but every once in a while you'll find somebody who's legitimate. So make sure that when you do this as the investor, that you're not just that guy or gal who went to the workshop at the local Holiday Inn and is suddenly calling people, because you got to have your first deal. And if you need to, partner with somebody. Go find somebody who's done this before. Go to your local real estate investor meetup. Say, hey, I'm trying to find this. Can I pay you a portion of my proceeds if you help me walk through this, right? That's a good way to go about business. And then you pick up the phone, call the agent, you say, hey, I'm calling on the behalf of so-and-so who deals in this space, and here's what we are prepared to make an offer for, right? And then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch more legitimacy, because I've already shot a video where I talk to agents, say, hey, what's the first thing you do? Well, the first thing you do is reach out and find out how legitimate the buyer is. Is this their first deal? Because if the answer is yes, they probably don't want to do business with you. You got to have your first time. So maybe you partner with somebody. Find that person who's legitimate. So when they say, hey, is this your first deal? And they go, oh no, he's done 15 deals. Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's worth talking to. Talk to his attorney, talk to the folks at the title company, talk to his past clients, right? People who actually sold properties to him, Sub2. Because if they won't talk to you, and they, if you can't find your old clients to talk to the agents, good luck, right? You should be so good that those people should be referring you business. All right. That's the type of character you need to be. All right. Number 2, when you call that agent, you finally get them on the phone. You go, hey, I got an offer. I'm not sure how familiar you are with this offer, but can I talk to you about the seller's position first? What's important to them? Think about, is it the most money in the shortest amount of time? Or is it, hey, they've got 6 months and they're willing to go, they have no loan? I mean, there's a whole bunch of different questions you have to ask. And you get to a point where you say, hey, I'm not sure this makes sense to your clients or not. Most people, it does not. However, I'm prepared to make an offer that looks like this. I can talk you through the pros and cons if you're interested in hearing it. Now, a lot of agents aren't familiar with it. They've never done one. And their initial reaction is, it's a scam, don't do it. I've talked to bunches of agents where I'm like, hey, how about seller financing? They're like, well, why would they do that? I'm like, well, because I give them a higher price, man. That's why, right? There's a benefit. When it's a trade-off, it's part of the negotiation. And some people don't understand that. And that's okay, because you can't win them all. And so you just move on. But you never know if you can build that trust and confidence and get an opportunity to talk with them and educate them on the process. Maybe you forward them some of my videos or some other stuff on the internet where they can learn about the process. Maybe it can help. Once you decide that, yeah, this is a possible candidate for my offer, you need to make sure that you offer a scenario where the seller feels like they win, right? If they are in a bad position, you need to make sure they get out of that bad position. You aren't trying to skin them alive. You aren't trying to take all of their life's equity and all their life's savings. You're trying to get a deal where you make money and you help them out. And if you're just trying to skin them for every cent they got, you're probably not going to get very many offers, right? It's just not going to happen. So you need to make sure that your offer gives them a win, a good win, something where they say, wow, this is so good. I'm going to post it on Google how awesome this guy is. 5 stars, right? If they're not offering you a 5-star rating, you're probably not offering the right offer. Okay. It should be that good. Now, the other person that needs to win is the real estate agent. A lot of times what investors fail to realize when they make that offer is the real estate agent, one of the first things they're asking is, when do I get paid? Right? You got to answer that question and come right out and say, I'm going to ensure that you get paid. I'm paying you out of my pocket. What a great way to say it. I'm going to make a deal with the seller. Here's my offer. And oh, by the way, your commission is this. And I'm going to pay that on this date at closing. Or if it's let's say it's a lease option, you're going to pay that at the beginning of the lease, not at the close. Whatever the case is, make sure that you tell them, hey, and I'm going to make sure that you get paid so that you win and that you are encouraged to take my offer seriously and actually present it to the seller, right? Number 4 item, you want to be recognized by that agent as legitimate. You've partnered with somebody, you've talked with them, you've asked them questions about their seller before pitching your offer. You didn't reach out by text first, you phone called them first. All these different little nuances. Well, you're also going to say, hey, I'm going to provide you proof of funds. Let me tell you what proof of funds is not. Proof of funds is not a screenshot. You don't pull up your phone and pull up your crypto account and snap it and say, hey, look at this, I got 28 Bitcoin, right? No, that's not a thing. Any proof of funds must be in a PDF format. It's got to show your name, an address, the bank, an account number. Now, maybe you block out that account number, right? But you need to have all that information, including the balance on there. Now, you don't have to liquidate it. You can have, 10,000 shares of GE stock. That's okay. You just have to say, hey, I'm prepared to liquidate this. And if it says IRA, really? Are you gonna liquidate and pay the penalty? Probably not. So that's not a legitimate proof of funds. A legitimate proof of funds is a PDF bank statement, and it's going to be within the last 30 days. All right. Think about sourcing funds for a bank. That's what you should be doing. If you do anything short of that, don't expect the real estate agent to take you seriously. You don't have to do this. They don't have to accept it. If you want them to take you seriously, act like a professional. And that's what you need to do. All right, number 5 is references. One of the best things you can do is share your references. I already alluded to that a little bit before. The best thing you can do is tell them, hey, you should talk to somebody else that I worked with before that actually did this, the great experience they had. You want to make sure that they have the opportunity to talk to somebody who's a good reference that is going to be able to talk about what a great experience they had with you, how you helped them, 5-star on Google. Wow, isn't that impressive? Can you imagine if you say, hey, have you ever done this? Yeah, they'll shoot. Here's my Google that says that this person with a first name, last name, and a photo, I bought their property Sub2 and it was a great experience. Holy cow. Wouldn't that be an amazing little review to have that on Google, huh? So go out there and get those, right? Number 6, when it comes time to make your offer, make the offer clear and make it use proper forms, right? So a lot of times, if you're an individual investor, you're not licensed, you probably have your offer letter and you're going to present it. I, as an agent, I'm going to say, hey, great, thanks for that. Do it on the local MLS forms. That's what I'm going to do. I'm an agent investor. I make all my offers on the RAIN forms, the local MLS forms, even to unrepresented for sale by owners. I still make them on those. And they're like, oh my God, look at all these forms. Great, let me talk you through it. Right? Well, I can use this one pager where you don't have any of the protections. It's really easy to understand. I have all the outs, but I suggest you go with this one that has more protections for you, right? That's what I do. And as an agent, that's what I expect. So if you call that agent and go, hey, I'm prepared to make an offer. Here are the terms. Here's my 1-page offer. I am happy to do this on the local MLS forms. I unfortunately don't have access. If I did this, perhaps you could pay that, put those together, those forms for me. Now, maybe you compensate them for that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. That's up to you. However you want to do it. I'm a licensed agent so that I could differentiate myself from the unlicensed investors, right? And that's what I do. I suggest you do something similar. Another option is you could partner with an agent who does this and go, hey man, maybe I'll pay you and you could just represent me and you get a piece of it. I don't know, something like that might be an option. Number 7 is flexibility. You got to be flexible with your terms. So I can almost guarantee you your first offer is going to be rejected. Well, it's got a whole bunch of terms in there. Go, hey, well, what part of that offer did you like best? Expound on that. All right, what part did you like least? Well, let's get rid of that and let's do something else. Something I like is a 3 offer letter. I'll go, hey, here's a cash deal. Here's a conventional, hard money loan. And right in here's some seller financing or Sub2, right? And, what are the different prices? One of them is going to be appealing to them. They're going to like, well, I like that one a lot better. You like the cash offer because it's quick and you get the money, even though it's the lowest price. Yeah, that's right. Now, I don't like the cash offer. The price is too low. Well, maybe we do this Sub2 deal over here. I can get you a really good number. Great. And then that's how you get that. That's how you get that offer accepted, is when you ask questions and you're flexible and you're willing to really work with that other agent. Okay. Number 8 is professionalism. Differentiate yourself from the other wholesalers and the other investors and the other Sub2 people out there. So if you show up in ripped jeans and a muscle shirt and a hat and a bandana, don't be expected to take it seriously, right? On the other hand, you show up in a suit and tie. Wow, what a difference that would make. Offer to meet that agent in person. Offer to say, hey, I have an offer. I'd like to take you to lunch, take you to coffee, my treat while I present the offer. You show up dressed nicely. Wow, that's a legitimate person. And if you think that how you present yourself doesn't matter, you are absolutely wrong. And if that means that you got to go out and go to Dillard's and buy yourself a suit, well, go buy yourself a suit. I tell you what, when I meet with listing appointments, I'm typically wearing a suit and tie unless it's really hot like it is right now, in which case I ditch the tie typically. But I want a jacket on and a tie because I'm going to look good and people take me very seriously. You should do the same. Number 9, open communication. Make sure that agent knows they can reach you at any time. So go out there, answer your phone. A lot of times people do not answer their phone in this business, and I do not know why. If you get a missed phone call, call them back. People don't leave messages. I don't know why they don't. Call missed numbers back, respond to text messages, reach out to them. Do your best to respond as soon as you possibly can so that you are responsible and they want to work with you. They don't want to work with somebody who takes 48 hours to respond. They want somebody who responds in 48 seconds, right? You are now somebody they want to work with. So you want to be that type of available communicator. Maybe you don't have that. Maybe you have an assistant. What a great idea. And lastly, the number 10 thing that I recommend is don't do a tabletop closing. I know you save a lot of money, and there are a lot of gurus out there who recommend that. And they say that, and they say, I never use a title company. I never use a lawyer. Okay, great. I only use lawyers. I've had clients of mine buying houses said, I want to save money in the title company. I say, I've refused to do it. You want to do that, you got to go find somebody else. I refuse to do that. I'm going to work with an attorney. And that's one of the things that I do is we only work with certain attorneys who know what they're doing, because those attorneys are professionals. And I know that my clients are going to be protected. If you do a sub-2 and you show up and you go, hey, licensed agent, I am prepared to make this. I've asked questions. I didn't do a cold text. I am professional. I showed up looking nice, suit and tie. I have references. Look at this. And here are my 3 option letter. Hey, we're going to go through here. And oh, by the way, my closing attorney is so-and-so who's done 50 of these in the last year. Would you care to talk to him and talk about my record with him as well? All things that are going to set you apart and make it likely that your offer is going to be accepted. Now, if you have any questions on that, I'm going to post the highlights of these items in the notes below. I recommend you really consider those next time you're making an offer to an agent, because I tell you what, the biggest turnoff for me is cold text message where somebody says, "Hey, I got a great deal. You want a full price?" I go, no thanks. Go away. Right? So you gotta engage those agents properly. In conclusion, remember that real estate transactions, especially creative financing deals, are built on trust. So you have to build a level of trust when you're in those deals to make the deal happen and to get them accepted. By demonstrating your competence and your professionalism from the very beginning, you're showing that you know what you're doing, you're reliable, and you're going to be good to work with. You're also going to show that you're a benefit to the seller, a benefit to the agent, and from there, they're ready to do business.